What's going on, guys? This your boy CMB, back in the building, back with another video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Now, let's get into this really quickly, guys. I want to say happy Friday to all you boxing fans out there around the world. I want to say thank you to all the old subscribers as well as the new subscribers for checking out the videos. Thank you guys once again. Now, guys, we're talking about that damn Terminator, Errol the True Spence Jr. Now, he did an impromptu call on Barbershop Conversations in the wee hours of the morning the other night. I want to send a shout out to Barbershop Conversations for getting so much information out of Errol Spence Jr. I know some of you guys like Fred. I know some of you guys dislike Fred. But one thing I can say about Fred is he always treated me with the utmost respect when I seen him at a fight. And this was before I was even doing YouTube. So shout out to him for such a great interview. Now, guys, you know Errol Spence Jr. is not much of a talker. He doesn't talk to the press a whole lot. You know, he doesn't have a huge presence on social media. You know, he tweets some stuff every now and then. He's on IG every now and then, but he's not on there all the time. So this was very refreshing to hear him speak so much. They got so much information out of him. I may even do a part 2 to this video. I'm not sure yet, so don't hold me to it. There was so much information, so I wrote down some stuff that they talked about, that they went over with him, and I just want to go over some of these talking points that they talked about. And the first one he was asked about Ugas. They asked him, was Ugas ever in play for the fight? And he said that Ugas was in play for the fight if they didn't get the Manny Pacquiao fight. Now, you know, Manny Pacquiao was going back and forth between him and Terrence Crawford. And one of the guys, I can't remember his name, that was on Fred's show, told him that the WBA had reinstated Manny Pacquiao to the super champion. Now, I was unaware of this, and Errol was unaware of this as well. I haven't heard anything confirming that, so I'm going to keep my ears to the street for that, guys. Now, he also said if he beat Pacquiao, he was going to try to go across the street to get the Crawford fight. Now, you guys know Errol Spence's whole thing was to become undisputed at 147 pounds before he leaves the division. If he says he doesn't get that fight, he says he's going to move on up to 154 pounds. He says he has 2 more fights at 147, so I'm assuming that's the Pac fight and him trying to get the Crawford fight. He also gave Manny Pacquiao his props. You know, how could you not? Manny Pacquiao is a legend in the game. Hard fighter to beat. I think this is going to be Errol Spence Jr.'s biggest fight of his career right now, fighting Manny Pacquiao. I hear a lot of people not giving Manny Pacquiao a chance, but you can't overlook him. The footwork, the speed, the power. Just because he's 42 doesn't mean anything when you take care of your tempo, guys, so be aware of that. I've said that before in the past. He was asked about the hashtag blame Bob, I guess, when the fight fell through with Terrence Crawford and Manny Pacquiao. I guess that was a little shot at Terrence Crawford, by the way. Now, he said that Al Heyman got the fight done with Pacquiao through Pacquiao's lawyer, so shout out to Al Heyman for getting it done. A lot of you guys know I thought this fight was dead in the water. I thought this fight was never going to happen. I had made peace with it. I had moved on from it. I thought Manny Pacquiao was going to fight Mikey Garcia, and lo and behold, Al gets it done, so shout out to him. He was asked about fitting in another fight this year, I guess after this fight with Manny Pacquiao. Errol said that he wanted to get in another fight. He told Al that he needed a reason to stay in the gym so he wouldn't basically blow up in weight. You know, we've talked about this before on this channel about fighters staying disciplined. You know, a lot of times, you know, some of the younger fighters, they blow up in weight between fights, and then they wind up having to do fat camp to lose the weight instead of working on their skill set. So I think he wants to stay in shape. He was also asked about Keith Thurman one time. Thurman, guys, he says he wants nothing to do with Keith Thurman. And I've did videos in the past about Errol Spence not respecting Keith Thurman. I think Keith Thurman really left a bad taste in Errol's mouth when Errol was coming up and he was trying to get that fight with Keith, and Keith wasn't having it. Now Keith is looking to, you know, get back in the mix, get back on top, and Errol's not, you know, Errol doesn't want to give him the fight. I would love to see that fight still, but I can understand where Errol Spence is coming from on this one. Now, if Manny Pacquiao is not reinstated, Keith Thurman does have a chance to force Errol into a fight by getting a fight with Ugas and capturing Ugas's WBA super, but we're just gonna have to wait and see with that one. We don't know what's going on with that, but right now it doesn't seem like Keith Thurman is ever going to get a fight with Errol Spence Jr. Now, he was also asked about Sean Porter. Would he fight Sean Porter? He said honestly there's really no reason for him to go back and face Sean Porter. Sean Porter is not holding a title. He didn't think Sean Porter was really a big draw when it comes to pay-per-views. He said the only reason, you know, fighting Sean Porter, he said it would be a great fight, but besides that, there wouldn't be any particular reason to go and face Sean Porter. Now, here's a surprise. He said when he fought Danny Garcia, he was about 75 to 80%, I guess, in shape for that fight. He says he wasn't right at all leading up to that fight. And you guys know he had went through that car accident. I'm sure it was a lot of mental stress, trying to lose the weight, not thinking, you know, he was the same fighter. I'm sure it was a lot of that type of stuff. But even at 75 and 80%, he said he felt like he could still beat Danny Garcia. And he said if Danny would have came straight ahead, it was going to be a dog fight. So that lets you know how good Errol Spence really is, guys. He felt like he was 75 to 80% in that fight, not himself, and he still managed to beat, you know, a guy like Danny Garcia, who's a great fighter in his own right. He was asked about how he feels now. He said right now he's as sharp as a tack. He's 158 pounds right now. So him being 158 pounds, that lets you know that he's been on his A game, guys. He's been working out with Blu-ray, of course, leading up to this fight. Now he said, now we talked about this before. He said that Danny Garcia, in the Danny Garcia fight, Sean Porter and Mikey fight, that he wasn't working with Blu-ray. And I told you guys, when he was working with Blu-ray, he was knocking fighters out. And when he wasn't working with Blu-ray, he wasn't knocking fighters out. And he brought attention to that. He said that, what did he say here? He said that he was only doing strength and conditioning when he was fighting these guys for the cameras, like, you know, when they wanted to get some shots of him, that he wasn't really doing any of that stuff. He wasn't doing the sit-ups. He wasn't doing working out his lower back or legs or things like that. He said he was only really doing it for the camera's sake. And he said if he did do strength and conditioning, he would do it like 4 weeks before the fight. So that's interesting to hear. Wow. Yeah, he said he wasn't doing any sit-ups at all. So he's got Blu-ray back, like I said, for this fight. So you know he's taking this extremely serious, this fight with Manny Pacquiao, because you got to be on your A+ game going into the fight with this guy. Manny Pacquiao is very dangerous. Asked Keith Thurman. Keith Thurman said he was going to crucify Manny Pacquiao, and it didn't turn out in his favor. Now, one more interesting thing that he brought up, he was talking about leading up to the Mikey Garcia fight. The morning of the weigh-in, he said he was in the sauna for 2 hours with a sauna suit on, shadow boxing, trying to drop 3 pounds. So guys, as you can see, I'm glad Errol was so transparent with these type of things. A lot of times you don't know what these fighters are going through leading up to a fight. You know, it may be a struggle, you know, mentally, trying to lose weight. You know, sometimes people have trouble because they like to eat. Maybe they're not feeling motivated. You know, they're human beings just like me and you. They go through things. It's hard to always be on a professional level, but Errol has weathered this storm. He's learned from his mistakes. He's correcting them and doing the proper things that he needs to do to be on his A+ game. He has a very big fight coming up with Manny Pacquiao. Biggest fight of his career. He's got to be sharp. He said he's sharp as a tack right now. He needs to be when he goes into this fight, because Manny Pacquiao is no slouch in the ring. We all know that. But guys, I may do a part 2 if I have time. I'm not sure if I have time. I got a lot of things I got to get done. But those are a few things that he went over. And like I said, it was really refreshing to hear Errol Spence be so vocal about things that's going on in his life. Very rare. Once again, shout out to Fred from Barbershop Conversations for such a great interview. So you guys tell me what you think about Errol Spence being so vocal. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comment section. It's the CMB. I'll talk to you guys in the next one. And I'm out. Peace.